Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
I'm Leah.
And this week we're talking about The Sixth Sense. I see dead people.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better.
Holy crap, I'm back here with Leah. You came back.
I did, I know, crazy.
Didn't take a couple of years of harassing you this time either, just a couple of weeks.
Oh, look, once the first time's over, that's the hard one, right?
That's right. After that, easy sailing? Plain
Easy
sailing? Easy A. I've never seen the Easy A.
No, neither have I.
I wonder if there's a novelization.
It's not up there. I'm sure there is, actually. There would have to be, surely.
I would hope so. And Sixth Sense this time to draw you out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Classic.
A film that you would have... What, did you see it when it came out?
I did, and at the movies as well.
And we talked about this today. You didn't pick it. Didn't pick the twist.
No, not at all. And I've never met anyone who has until it turns out that you did.
I think there's a few clues. I think we're gonna, see that as we go along. And but also, I just want to mention as well. This is episode 99.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Next week is the big 100, and we'll talk about that at the end. But this, I want to say the penultimate episode, but that sounds like I won't do any more after 100, which is really tempting, actually. But no, I will, I'm sure. All right, well, look, let's get straight into this, because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. And I'd love to go on many tangents along the way. Mm-hmm. So it's by Peter Larangus, I'm assuming it's pronounced.
This is what we're going with.
Larangus. Now, he's a young adult author of the Seven Wonders series. He wrote some of the 39 Clues series. Plus, he wrote the Drama Club series.
So I'm guessing this is what it sounds like, the Drama Club.
The
kind
Drama
of like
Club.
Pony Club Girls or something.
A little bit of tragedy, a little bit of comedy.
Sounds fantastic, actually. I'm surprised we don't have it.
Lengthy audition processes. Everyone wants to be the lead lady. Some people get cast as trees, that sort of thing. And my favourite, this sounds really good, the Abracadabra series, including... Now, this is a cultural difference. I've talked about this before.
Oh, yeah?
In America, this would be called Poof. Rabbits everywhere. Poof. Puff of smoke as the rabbits appear.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, though, it's poof!
That's
rabbits
right.
everywhere. It's like the heckler yelling at the magician on stage. Hey, poof! Got those fucking rabbits everywhere! Coming out of your hat, coming out of your ears!
Look, I still think the funniest one, and I was in utter shock when this first happened and I first realised, and it was Happy Days, is how Americans call butt Fanny.
Fanny, yeah.
And the dad said to the daughter on Happy Days, "You get upstairs, I'm going to tie your fanny to the bed."
Whoa.
And yeah, as an 11-year-old, let me tell you, that came as quite a shock.
Even just when watching The Nanny, that opening, when she fell on her fanny.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Wow. But look, by that point, I was okay. Like, I understood that meant something else otherwise. But I can imagine all these little 8-year-olds in Australia were like, "Mummy, did they just say..."
They tied her with her fanny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is literally what he said.
Mm. That's kind of tricky, even the back way. Or front way. It's
Happy
tricky
Days.
either
Look,
way.
it was set in the 60s, wasn't it? So everything went.
As Homer said, they weren't all happy days. Okay, so here is the beginning of this book. On the night his life changed forever, Cole Sear was fast asleep. The air carried through his window the feel of a city in autumn, rain-soaked leaves, burning fireplaces and car exhaust. Tonight, for a change, sleep had come easily. A little too easily. Down the hallway and just past the living room, his mother lay half awake, one ear cocked towards Cole's room.
One scream, one gasp, one thump of a bare foot on the floor would send her running. For Lynn Sear, this night was the same as all others. She was worried about money, about her jobs, about her divorce, and always, always about Cole.
Can you imagine the living, waking hell of Toni Collette running and screaming at you every time you got up in the middle of the night to take a piss?
Look, I think I'd quite enjoy it.
Toni Collette? Celebrity Toni Collette would be kind of fun.
Unless she's, I forget, that series where she was multiple...
Well, but that would keep it interesting, wouldn't it?
Like, be very interesting.
You don't know who you're going to encounter in the...
Look, I think at night time I play that kind of character. I'm known to get up and scream and run around in my sleep.
That sounds fantastic. Courtney's one of those. She drew a pentagram on the ceiling while she was asleep.
Wow, okay, no, I don't do that. That's a whole other level.
She's only short too. I don't know how she did it. She must have piled up a lot of books or something. Maybe levitated.
Maybe not
Wouldn't
asleep.
put it past her. Something mysterious is clearly going on here.
They hadn't planned on all the visitors, hadn't invited them, but still, they came. They came often and whenever they pleased. They never announced themselves, and they certainly weren't welcome. Only Cole could see them. To their credit, they never bothered Lynn. They weren't interested in her, so she never even knew they were there. They called instead on Cole. But tonight, so far, they were silent.
So what were they? Jehovah's Witnesses? They're banging on Cole's window with a rolled up copy of Watchtower?
Look, if they're silent, I don't think it is. I think maybe more it must be that group, the gay agenda you hear a lot about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but see, they're very sneaky. You don't hear them. I think that's who it is. It's the gay agenda knocking on the door. He's a boy, single mother. That's exactly what they want.
I'd see them creeping up to Cole's bed and going, "Don't you think Zac Efron is really cute? Did you see his arms in that last film? Just saying."
Yeah.
But we don't find out why. I was going to go on a tangent there. I'm not going to go on it. Because I am. I'm good. But you can bail out of this conversation.
Okay.
I feel like there's one of those things as well that would actually work. Because I know as a...
the gay agenda?
No, but
right.
Subliminal messaging in your sleep. Like an association between a person or a thing.
Yeah.
And like a physical kind of thing. Because I remember as a, 1920, out of work doing comics on the doll.
Yeah.
Would stay up all night drawing and then wake up in the morning. I can't tell you there. I'm telling you the story now, listener. And, in the morning, certain things would happen to a young man when you wake up, just involuntarily, that sort of thing. But if you had, the TV on, it might be like Carrie Ann Kennelly, it might be Ricky Lake, I know, but you start to make these weird associations. So I reckon this could kind of happen.
Wow, that's troubling.
I'm going to edit that out.
That's really troubling.
I'm not really. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. Mixed up 99. Anything can happen. But look, we don't find out why his life changed forever. I'm thinking it's probably puberty. Wet dream, maybe.
Maybe. Well, he's only 8, isn't he? And he's very tiny.
I think he's like 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's advanced. He's got extra senses compared to everybody else. But instead, forget all that. We cross to the home of psychotherapist Dr. Malcolm Crowe and his wife Anna.
Her husband was sprawled on the living room floor. He was 38 years old, but his smile had the confident glint of a man half his age, which would make him pretty young.
Yeah.
Anyway, and his sturdy physique attested to regular weekend rowing on the... Can you say that river's name for me?
Oh, God knows. I'll butcher it.
The river. The only signs of approaching midlife were the lines on his face, lines that told of sleepless nights he spent unravelling children's problems, to which there were no simple answers.
Like, how do I evolve my Pokemon with a moonstone? That's the sort of thing that was troubling children in the 90s. 38. Do you believe Bruce Willis is 38 in that film? That's my age.
Look, he probably is.
Right.
No, he was probably 40. But I just think he always looked old. Like, even in Moonlighting, he looked old.
That's what I was going to say. I'd be surprised if he was younger than 38 in Die Hard.
Yeah.
And that would have been 10 years.
Nah, he must have been.
Yeah.
But when I read that, I also thought, oh my God, 38. That's not that old. That's not middle-aged people.
Poor the other
Shut your
one.
mouth.
Larangus, honestly.
But he's sturdy. He's steady physique. So
that's true.
Rowing.
He's a tank.
Yeah.
And Malcolm admires his new award. "That's one fine frame," Malcolm said. "A fine frame it is. How much does a fine frame like that cost, you think?" Anna loved when he was goofy like this. He hardly ever did it anymore. I've never told you, but you sound a little like Dr. Seuss when you're happy. Anna, I'm serious, Malcolm said with a self-satisfied smile. Serious I am, Anna. Here's old M. Night having a shot at some comedy.
Yeah. But was that M. Night or was that... I can't remember. Was that
I can't remember if that was in the film.
No,
I didn't
maybe
rewatch
this
it
is
for
Lorangus.
this. I don't think you're allowed as a novelizationist
really?
usually.
Okay.
Certainly post like about the 90s. In the 70s, 80s, you read those novelizations, those people just wrote whatever the hell they wanted and made up a lot of stuff. But apparently now you're allowed to do interior thoughts, but you're not allowed to deviate much from the script.
From the dialogue,
Although it could have been a scene that M. Night wrote in that didn't make it to the film, because we also get stuff that was cut.
Yeah.
But I thought, this is great. I would love to read a Sixth Sense novelisation by Dr. Seuss. Like, I see dead people near my bed. I see the contents of their head. I do not like dead people spam. I do not like how cold I am. I think that would be fantastic.
That would be
I was going to write
a lot of fun.
More of those as we continued, but I didn't.
I think you should.
I'll make them up. But I felt like something was wrong here, because we've been with a female character for a couple of pages now. And we've got no idea how hot she is.
I know, yeah.
So,
look, we had quite a description of the frame as well.
Yeah.
Look, I'm glad you noted that.
What about her frame?
Because that definitely, as soon as I read that, I thought, oh, yeah, here we go.
I was feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
So, she is, in the soft bedroom light, she was exquisite. She was always exquisite. Her skin had the translucence of a pearl, her hair a liquid brown richness that framed her face. I think we have a fetish here.
Echoes.
In the shape of a heart. She was teasing him with her eyes that could be both playful and fierce, intelligent and patient, open and direct, yet full of silence, unanswerable mysteries.
She's actually probably thinking about how much she didn't want to go to work the next morning and suppressing a fart. But there you go. Yeah, translucence of pearl. This,
look, it's quite a description.
Lorangus is
a master.
He's putting it on the pedestal.
Look, I think his word score would be 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think so.
It's up there. It's up there with the best.
He's got some. He knows the ladies. He knows what he likes. But all this banter is cut short because there is an intruder in the house. He was a young man of 19 or 20, wearing nothing but a pair of white briefs. His body was emaciated and covered with angry scars, his lower lip split by a recent wound. His brown hair, dirty and matted down, had a streak of white at the left temple. Like a meek, guilty child, he stopped stiffly in front of the sink, with bowed head and clasped hands. Oh, this was genuinely creepy.
It was.
Should be said that this book's not particularly thick. It's almost like a junior novelisation of The Sixth Sense, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, or like a young adult one.
Yeah.
So he has to be relatively economic with his text, but I thought he does a pretty good job of kind of nailing what he needs to nail in a brief amount of time.
Yeah, and for me, I'd forgotten this scene, strangely enough. All I really remembered... Well, I felt I remembered most of the movie, but really all I remembered was I see dead people and then the twist at the end, which for some of us wasn't a twist, as it turns out. But I remember when I saw that at the movies, I thought that was pretty freaky, as well as thinking, oh my God, that's Donnie Wahlberg.
I know, like, and he's really skinny, isn't he?
Kids on the block.
Yeah, and wearing white underwear. So it sort of looks like somebody deflated Marky Mark with a pin.
Yes. But look, his writing took me right back to that scene. No, genuinely, it did.
Well, it did for me too, actually. I haven't seen the movie for a long time, but reading this book, I thought, I don't really need to watch it now. I remember I could conjure up everything from the film. Look, turns out it's Ben Friedkin. Malcolm worked with him when he was 10, and now people call him the Freak. Although some people do call him Space Cowboy. A couple call him Maurice or Gangster Alive. Malcolm recoiled. Vincent aimed. The shot shattered the peace of the autumn night. Malcolm fell back onto the bed, clutching his stomach. Anna shrieked in horror. As she kneeled over her husband, Vincent pointed the gun to his own head and pulled the trigger.
Yeah, so that was a big scene in the film.
Pretty big for a junior novelisation.
Yeah. Well, yes, you're right, actually. Poor little kids. But, you've got 11-year-olds reading Game of Thrones. This is nothing.
Well, this is true. Yeah.
You can give this to an 8-year-old.
Anna's not his sister, at least. But Malcolm survives, right? Luckily.
I think so.
Wink.
Yeah,
yeah. He's fine. He pulls
medical
through.
wonders and all that.
And a year later, he's preparing to take on the case of the Coal Boy, which is what's his name? Hayley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Hoping that he can avoid any future murder, suicides that may muddy up his resume.
Yeah, ruin any future frames.
That's right. He's got a lot of space on those walls.
As the row house door slowly creaked open, Malcolm looked up. The boy appeared, peering cautiously into the street. He was small for 8, his hands barely reaching the knob.
No wonder the kid has issues. His tiny T-Rex arms barely reach his knob.
No, he was so cute, little... What did we say his name was again?
Haley,
that's right.
Got a massive head, though, doesn't he? Yeah.
I don't remember
He could play Edgar Allan Poe as a child. That's how big his head is.
Oh, look, he missed that opportunity then.
Yeah, look at that picture. We're looking at the picture
I don't think
photo
so.
section.
Maybe this one looks a little bit big, but the rest looks
He looks like
fine.
He's got psychic powers, like telekinesis or something.
Yeah, he does. He was always a sad-looking boy.
Auditioned for young Anakin Skywalker. Didn't get it. I think that could have been interesting.
Tough times.
Tough times indeed. Malcolm chats to Cole very casually at the church where he's hiding. But the scene has zero resolution. Instead, Malcolm goes home where his depressed wife has the table set for one. I don't know why she wouldn't set food for her alive husband.
I mean, you think she'd be celebrating that he came through.
And she's asleep. And she's not seen talking.
Cold.
Or interacting with him. And the basement door is locked.
That just seems unfair.
Probably means nothing, though. I wouldn't read too much into it. They're just having
normal here. Nothing to see
difficult
people.
times,
Nothing
that's all.
to see people.
How hot is Toni Collette, though? I'm guessing not quite as hot as Malcolm's wife.
No, so Lynn was quietly attractive, just quietly.
Quietly
I don't even know what
attractive.
quietly attractive means.
You wouldn't want to be referred to as quietly attractive, would you?
No, look, I think it's better than not being attractive at all.
But wouldn't you rather be obnoxiously, raucously attractive?
Yeah, but not all of us can have that. I think
Quietly
Scarlett would
attractive.
have that. I think you could describe Scarlett in that way.
Maybe.
So Lynn was quietly attractive, a trim and young-looking woman, a bit obsessed with age, I think, with wavy brown hair that her friends claimed to admire. Although she described it as mousy, her motions were efficient and quick, but her eyes had the calmness of a woman who knew her place in the world and made the most of it.
Bear in mind, she's doing laundry at this point when they're describing
she doesn't need to be that attractive.
her place in the world that she was comfortable with. Right by the washing machine, apparently.
That's right.
But Cole missed his father deeply, and that broke Lynn's heart because, frankly, Ken Sear was a major league creep. Right now, as she scrambled to make ends meet, scrambled. He was probably snug in his little Pittsburgh apartment being served bacon and eggs by Trudy the toll collector, the woman he'd run off with. Now, I swear to God, this isn't a joke. I read this as Trudy the troll collector, and I thought, like, she had shelves of troll dolls with the, like, neon hair sticking up, and I thought, that's such an odd detail to, like, go in. Like, you know, I thought it was, like, a way of saying how eccentric she was. Like, you know, the crazy cat lady. I love my version of the story.
I think it's much better.
A lot better. Deleted scene.
Yeah.
On the next Blu-ray release. Weird things are afoot at breakfast, though.
Yeah, look, I actually remember this scene particularly well, and it goes something a little bit like, when she moved back into the kitchen, she nearly fainted. The cupboards and drawers, every one of them from top to bottom, had been flung open. Cole was sitting stiffly, exactly where he'd been a moment ago. His face was pale, his little hands pressed palm down on the formica table. Lynn swallowed. How did he do that? She hadn't been out of the kitchen more than a few seconds. She squashed her rising panic. "Something you're looking for, baby?" she asked gently. "Pop-Tarts," Cole said, his eyes averted.
Kid just needs a sugar fix. There's nothing weird about that.
Look, I think there is a medical condition, undiagnosed. It's clearly diabetes.
American child, just going nuts in the kitchen, pulling every cupboard open, looking for Pop-Tarts. I thought this was normal. I wouldn't have even told in a specialist. This is almost taken out of Poltergeist, actually.
Oh, really?
Because in Poltergeist, the mother's in the kitchen talking to the little girl, and it's all done in one shot. And the mother goes to a cupboard, and when she comes back, all the kitchen chairs are piled up in a pyramid.
Ooh.
And the little girl's still sitting next to them. And M. Night does reference Poltergeist as a big influence on this. So
wow, everything's a remix, as they say.
Yeah, well, I wondered if you remembered it from here or remembered it from Poltergeist via here. It's one of those weird things.
No, I definitely remembered it from the show because I remember his little face.
Cole returns home from school to find his mother sitting opposite old Malcolm. She talks to Cole, but doesn't say anything to Malcolm at all. But that's fine. They probably just ran out of things to say. I wouldn't read anything into the fact that no one's talking to him. He's Bruce Willis. He's got a reputation for being a little standoffish.
Yeah.
It's fine. So she heads off to make the unearthly triangle pancakes, which sounds to me like the scariest thing in the film so far. We'd have to use some sort of containment device.
Look,
within
Americans have all sorts of crazy tools.
They probably have a special triangular pan for this very reason.
I think the kids are actually just having sugar overload.
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts for breakfast, pancakes. I don't know what this is for, probably dinner.
I'd be
seeing things
as well.
Exactly.
Every time I looked in the mirror. And it's only once she's gone that Cole and Malcolm have a chat. But that's normal, right?
Completely
just shy.
normal.
He doesn't want to talk to a stranger in front of his mum.
See, when I was reading this, I was trying to remember in the film how I didn't notice that, and I just didn't. I actually took it as completely normal. And I was trying to think, did she look at him?
She doesn't. No, like when he first comes in and Malcolm's at the house, they're sitting in chairs sort of facing each other. And they're just silent. They're both silent with their heads down, and he comes in and she starts talking to Cole and then excuses herself and leaves, and then he has the conversation with Malcolm. And then Cole talks about the violent drawings he drew and how it upset everyone.
How do you draw now? Malcolm asked. I draw people smiling, dogs running, and rainbows. Cole paused. They don't have meetings about rainbows. Malcolm nodded. I guess they don't.
Great if they did, though. Like, okay, do we really need red and yellow and pink and green? That feels like a little excessive to me. You know, times are tight. We've all got to make sacrifices.
Look, I think it's gay gender again. Rainbows. Just saying. It wouldn't be allowed now. They would have meetings. Actually, probably in some American schools, your child has been drawing rainbows. Just saying.
I have a special emergency system where they'll get to close shutters over all the windows in case of a rainbow, just so that nobody gets an idea.
Yeah.
So look, he loses this game that he's playing with Cole, and Cole manages to exit. This whole therapy session lasts probably a couple of minutes, so I really hope he's not going to charge them full price. He wasn't particularly successful. And then Malcolm is late for his wedding anniversary dinner with Anna.
Plus, he was an hour late for his wedding anniversary dinner. Of all days, Anna was going to kill him.
No, I don't see anything ironic about that at all.
Everything fine there. No problem. Yeah.
Little bump, road bump. That's what a marriage is.
Yeah.
Navigate through that. His wife ignores everything he says. She doesn't talk to him. She mutters, "Happy anniversary," and leaves. Can't get a break, this guy. Nobody's talking to him. It's like he's a ghost. But he's not, so don't worry about it. It'll all come out in the wash. Here's a question. Mm-hmm. If a ghost goes to a restaurant and no kids with a sixth sense are around to see it, does it make a sound? Just curious. No, that has nothing to do with this story, so I don't even know why I went on that tangent. There's some chatting and walking with Cole and Malcolm.
Yeah.
They're walking, they're talking. And this leads to what I call the Peter Larangis great curse cop-out.
Oh, listen to me, Malcolm said firmly. You're not a freak. Don't believe anybody that tells you that. Malcolm used a curse, telling Cole he didn't have to grow up believing he was a freak. Cole was surprised and impressed, not by the advice, but by the curse.
What was the curse?
Who can say?
I should have watched the movie to see that.
I don't think there would have been a curse in the movie. It was okay to show someone blowing their brains out, but you don't want a cuss word in there.
There's no content. Like, you are not a freak. Don't believe anybody that tells you that. Motherfucker!
But you are a...
Motherfuckers. Yeah.
Shut your little mouth.
Shitbags.
Your little ghost mouth.
And look, Lynn is doing yet more chores when she discovers some of Cole's writing. The words covered the entire page. They were in Cole's handwriting, but as if he'd written with pen in fist, up and down and sideways, scribbling against time, never taking his hand from the page. Angry words, foul words. Christ, break the freaking glass. Oh no, God, what the hell is going on? Quiet the damn baby, I'll cut you, I swear it. Someone stop the burning. I'll kill you, I'll kill all you bastards. See, to me, again, this sounds like the typical kid on Xbox Live. This is the future.
Too much sugar again.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You amp them up, give them triangle pancakes.
Give him a carrot. Solved.
All normal behaviour.
Yes. Malcolm observes some skittish artsy type hitting on his wife. Doesn't this guy realise that she is married to a real live breathing husband?
Some people.
Can't believe the nerve.
Exactly.
And then there's a blow-up in the classroom where Cole bullies his teacher, calling him Stuttering Stanley.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's like, you're stuttering Stan, because he sees past lives. No, he's spoken to dead people in the school.
Yeah.
It makes him break down in front of everyone. So they keep trying to show this kid as a freak, but again, this feels like every public school I've ever been to. I remember, when they made the English teacher cry in Year 7.
Not the English teacher?
It was an English teacher, yeah. It was a shame she was nice too. I didn't make her cry.
They're always nice.
English teachers are always my favourite, I agree. I had one in high school. He was awesome, and he was an older guy, and he never looked at anybody. He would just look around the room like he was following one of those forced training balls, like with his mind. And I'd said that to my drama teacher, and then one day I got and this was before Star Wars came back, I got an essay returned, and he'd stuck a photocopied picture of Darth Vader on the bottom of it that said "The Force Lives" or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
And now they're making a new Star Wars movie, so it shows what he knew. A lot of stuff.
Yes.
Knew what was happening. Back home, Anna is absent, but she's left their wedding video running.
She'd do anything for you. Janice was right. In the year since the wedding, Anna had proven it 1,000 times. So what had gone wrong?
Well, it certainly wasn't being shot and killed. I can promise everybody that, because...
Look, he's still there. He's at the house. He's trying the basement. Can't get in. But he's there. He's at home.
She's just nostalgic. She wants to watch that video, remembering happier times. Not that anything really sad has happened. It just, it was a good...
Yeah, look, when it all seems so spelled out like this, I really do wonder where my brain was when I was watching the film, but I just went along with it.
Well, do you think there's a context for that? Because, it is the first M. Night film, so we're not expecting a twist. Whereas now, you watch an M. Night film, you're looking for it all the time, and I think everybody's been able to pick his...
Did anyone watch more films?
Well...
I think that's part of the problem, wasn't it?
Unbreakable wasn't bad.
Yeah, I saw that. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Sixth Sense was pretty good, though.
Yeah, it's definitely some diminishing returns.
So what else did he do?
Signs with Joaquin and Mel Gibson and the aliens, which had a really weird, convoluted sort of way of dealing with things at the end. The Village, where it turned out that they were in modern times.
Oh, okay.
All along.
All right, yeah.
Oh, and The Happening, where... have you heard of The Happening?
No.
That's Mark Wahlberg, one of his worst performances. And Mark
Wahlberg in a bad performance?
And John Leguizamo.
Yeah, something like that.
And there's this worldwide happening, and all the plants are coming to life.
Oh.
There's a scene with like scary grass and pot plants and things.
Sounds like The Day of the Triffids or whatever that.
Yeah, but it's not really sort of action. They release...
Well, none of them are. They're always pretty slow.
I think they release like a spore or something that makes people kill themselves. So it's not like plants attacking people.
Okay.
It's like the wind rustles and then people start shooting themselves in the head, and like a guy throws himself into a lion thing at the zoo and gets eaten by lions.
See, again, I often wonder what producers do around those producer desks where someone goes, yeah, we'll go with this.
Yeah, the grass is the killer.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Happening, did you know what the internet called that whole horrible nude celebrity leak thing?
Oh, yes, but I can't remember it now.
The fappening.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Internet. God. So look, finally things are heating up by getting cold. Cole is at a birthday party when...
But Cole wasn't paying them much attention. At the top of the first landing, a filigreed wrought iron gate stood open. Behind it was a small, dark closet door. Suddenly Cole felt very, very cold, and he knew he wasn't alone.
I couldn't find the actual bit in the book, but what I remember as one of the other clues is Cole says at one point about how people get cold when dead people are around. And I can't remember if it's Anna or Toni Collette, but Bruce Willis walks into the room and one of them's asleep on the armchair and they rug up suddenly as if they've just received a chill, and it's because he's in the room.
Yeah, I think it was his wife.
Yeah.
And from, I don't know, I'll just take a guess too that they wouldn't just make him walk in on Toni Collette's character while she's asleep, and that would be a bit creepy.
Just comes in and spoons her. Goes, everything's going to be okay. Dan Clowes has a great one-page strip called The Sensual Santa, which is about this Santa Claus-looking character.
So
wrong. But he's got a blonde moustache. He looks like and beard. He looks really Scandinavian.
Yeah.
And he climbs.
That's not so bad.
He climbs down like chimneys and stuff, and he spoons people in their beds and like strokes them and gives them cuddles, and you see the people laying awake with their eyes wide open, not looking back at him. And he's like, sometimes people want oil, so they just want to cuddle or whatever. Yeah. And then, sorry, we're scary. This is scary.
Yeah.
Thump, thump, thump. I can't breathe. Open this door. I didn't steal the master's horse. Open this door or I'll break through and grab you. And the other kids who all hate Cole, they push him into the closet and...
This time it opened easily. Cole tumbled into her arms. He was limp, motionless, his neck and arms covered with scratches. She turned and carried him down the stairs through the group of gaping, useless people. Behind her in the open closet were 2 old storage chests. Nothing else.
This was creepy. Like, the film was really creepy when you didn't see what was happening, but you were unsure what you were going to end up seeing. I think that was really effective.
Yeah, I was genuinely quite tense and on edge throughout this whole film, which is what I think he did particularly well. Even if there wasn't the twist at the end, obviously that's what made it what it was.
Memorable.
It still would have been a good film.
Yeah.
So it also, even that scene, like the way the kids treat him and so on, it even reminds me of AI, and obviously it's because it's the same actor. But I remember the bit when the kids all gang up, and then he grabs his real life brother and holds on to him and says, "Save me, save me," and then they fall into the pool, and that's it for him. He's going to be sent back to the robot orphanage.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah.
He doesn't die though, does he?
No, he doesn't. But it's enough of a scare to know that they can't trust the android.
The robots are very strong.
Yeah.
So Cole ends up in Children's Hospital, and Malcolm confides in him about the broken window, how he was a broken young man, a broken marriage, he broke some Guinness World Records, all hot dog eating competitions. And Cole responds with the confession that we have really been waiting for.
"I want to tell you my secret now," Cole whispered. Malcolm was jolted out of his haze. He hadn't expected this. "Okay." Cole paused. His face was ashen. "I see people," he said, his voice a whisper. I think you should say the next line.
"I see dead people. Some of them scare me."
That's actually pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Can we also just comment on how unprofessional it is of Malcolm to tell an 8-year-old boy
about his broken marriage? Yes. Yeah.
And the broken young man, "Listen, Cole, we need to sort your shit out. Otherwise, you're going to end up in some stranger's house in your white underwear, blowing your head off."
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll just leave it there. Cole just saw it as an opportunity to go, "Okay, we're sharing secrets now. Here's my..." Yeah.
It is nice and atmospheric. Cole's back at home and he goes to the bathroom to do his business, as I quote, very prudish America.
Yeah.
The bathroom to do business.
Yeah.
When...
As he reached out to flush, he heard a movement behind him in the hallway. He turned slowly. It was freezing cold, and he felt goosebumps on the flesh of his arms and scalp. As he leaned on the door jamb, peering into the hallway, he could see his breath. That was a sign. He eyed the red tent inside his bedroom door. The saints were in there, and Jesus and Mary and all the other figures from church. He would be safe there, safe from dead people.
And although we're halfway through the book, we finally have our first actual ghost manifestation here. Her back was to him. She was wearing a bathrobe. Actually, this would be better. Her back was to him. She was wearing a bathrobe, leaning over the stove. All the kitchen cupboards and drawers were open. "Mama," he said, "dream about Daddy again?" She stiffened. "Dinner's not ready!" As she whirled around, Cole lurched backward. It wasn't Mama at all. She glared at him through bloodshot eyes, one of them black and blue. Her face was hideous, old and ugly and all scratched up. It was the lady who opened all the cabinets, the one who'd visited a few mornings ago when Mama had seen the spot on his tie. "What are you gonna do?" she demanded, her voice harsh and sarcastic. That's a bit full on as well. I read this as a domestic violence, killed by a husband thing.
Oh, yeah, I think it definitely was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they played it in film.
Very heavy stuff.
Indeed.
And then all the ghosts start coming in like really thick and fast into the story after the school play.
Cole tried not to look, but he couldn't help it. There were 3 of them. A black family, man, woman and boy. Runaway slaves, probably. They were barefooted and dressed in old, raggedy clothes hanging from the ropes used to strangle them to death. And they were staring. Cole forced himself to look at the floor as he pointed up to the bodies. Dr. Crow turned to look. "Is something in there? What is it? I don't see." "Be real still," Cole said. "Sometimes you feel it inside, like you're falling down real fast, but you're really just standing still. Do you ever feel prickly things on the back of your neck?" "Yes," Dr. Crow said. "And the tiny hairs on your arms," Cole continued. "You know when they stand up?" "Yes." "That's them. When they get mad, it gets cold."
Yeah, there's a nice escalation here. I remember this sequence as well with the bodies hanging, and especially in that school environment with all the kids dressed up for the play and everything. Yeah. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And to Larangus's credit, there's not much padding in this relatively short book, although I did wonder if this was necessary. Lynn pulled a nice piece of juicy roast beef off I can't read. We've established that in these 99 episodes. Lynn pulled a nice piece of juicy roast beef off the stove. She'd bought a big supply of meat during the sale at the A&P this week. Cole's colour had been off lately, and the protein and iron would do him good.
That's just very strange. Sorry,
go ahead. No, please.
I was just going to say, I just think he clearly wants to establish, look, she might be a single mother, but she cleans.
Yes.
She buys good meat.
Yes.
She's aware of her son's iron deficiency. You know, she might be single, but hey, she's still a good mum. He might be beaten, bruised and screaming and whatnot, but everything's all right.
Well, we often talk about digital books, the future of books. I wonder if they will end up having advertising dynamically added to them in the future. Oh. So you'll be reading this and you'll go, "There's a meat sale at the A&P? This book can wait. I'm on my way. I'm down there."
That's a good idea.
Well, they do that
you should
in video games, kind of.
Oh, do they?
Sometimes. There's games that have had, you've required, like they're set in a big city with billboards and stuff. And because you're online, they will load up the billboards with films that are about to come out or advertising new products.
Yeah.
The first time I saw that, it really confused me. So I was like, I bought this game about 6 months ago and it's advertising this movie that's just coming out now. How?
Yeah.
And then I realised, it was all flooding in.
Yeah, and of course all those shows like MasterChef and so on, they do that with all of the produce. But I noticed, because I did watch some MasterChef episodes this week, this year, just putting it all out there, that there was one particular episode, and you know, whatever the one thing is that the contestants worried about, of course, becomes the thing that the judges comment on.
Yeah.
And in this one, it was not tacos, something else that's Mexican that holds food in it. I forget. Anyway, it was a Mexican challenge, and they had tossed up whether they were going to cook their own and realised they didn't have enough time, and therefore they just used the store one from their little tiny supermarket there. And of course they were very worried about it. And when the judges ate it, they said, "This is disgusting," and they literally said that and said, "I can't believe you use store-bought ones." And I felt like writing on Cole's Facebook wall and go, "So MasterChef judges just said that the tortilla, that's what it was, that you have on your coal shelves are disgusting.
And they're like
How
the
do
sponsor.
we feel about this? No, exactly. They didn't obviously put two and two together, that they were saying something they were selling on the shelves is disgusting, that they literally spat it out.
They need to do, like, TV that you can taste, because all those shows are so, like, how do you know?
Oh,
you have to take everyone's word for it.
Oh, of course, and you don't. It's all BS.
It's crap.
Yeah.
Cole has an argument with his mother about a mysteriously relocating bumblebee pendant that belonged to his grandmother. And then...
a dark figure slipped out of the spare room and into the hallway. It glided swiftly into Cole's bedroom before he could see it clearly. "Come on," a voice called. Cole's knees locked. A boy was leaning out of his doorway now, maybe 13 or 14. "I'll show you where my dad keeps his gun," the boy said. "Come on." The boy turned to walk back in, and Cole saw the back of his head, or the lack of it. It had been blown off, leaving a dark, bloodied crater.
Again,
Pretty nasty.
It's America. This happens all the time.
Yeah, but again, it's like we can't have a curse word,
yeah.
but we can have 2 heads blown off. This is okay. And wife beating.
Yeah.
And child poisoning too.
Yes. Yeah. That bit upset me the most. We're going to get to that. Anna's new suitor tries to woo her in an antique shop before somebody smashes the glass, somebody unseen. And Larangus here editorializes.
The scene from the antique shop looped endlessly in his head. It was like a bad soap opera, and it happened in front of the watching customers, in front of Malcolm, for Pete's sake. Clearly Anna hadn't known he was there, but people in this neighbourhood knew Malcolm. Did she think he wouldn't find out? Did she care?
I mean, God, it's not like he's dead.
She's a bitch.
Come on, Anna. She might be hot. Don't let it get to your head. More Cole-Malcolm conversation here. Malcolm wants to give up on him and focus on putting his own life in order.
Oh, Malcolm, how could you selfish bastard?
Well, he's told, like, the kid's giving him therapy now, really,
yeah,
isn't he?
That's right.
He's probably sick of paying the kid. And I kind of, with ghost dollars. Oh, but that's just, I don't even know why I said that. That's unrelated. I kind of like how Larangus works to give us the psychology of the characters, though. Like, not every author of these type of books bothers with really getting inside the head. A lot of them just go from A to B with the events as scripted. Or when they do get into the head, they don't really tell you much. They're just saying stuff like, "I've got to stop the Joker." Which, yeah, of course, Batman. That's why you're running.
Yeah.
You know? But I thought this was good. Like, he tried to get into what makes these characters tick. And seeing how there's that psychology kind of underlying this whole thing. I like this.
Yeah.
It was a question he'd faced without an adequate answer for years. How did a grown man sit and listen to hours and weeks and years of fantasy and fear? How did a man coax an unformed mind into reality without destroying its capacity to dream? How indeed? He had no idea. Pretty deep. And I thought this was effectively creepy too. Again, considering how economic this text is, I felt like Larangus milks quite a lot with very little. This is when Malcolm re-listens to Vincent the Freak's tapes.
Yeah, I thought that was done pretty well.
Oh, how's your Spanish?
Mucho bueno. Yeah, see, American listeners will be like, Jesus Christ, they're going to know. They're good with Spanish. The sound filled the basement as a whispered voice emerged from the static. Malcolm strained to make out the words, "Familia, no digan que esto me pase. Mi familia, yo no quiero morir. Familia."
I think that was pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Very fluent.
Malcolm's high school Spanish came back to him. "Don't let this happen to me," the voice was saying. "My family. I don't want to die." But it wasn't Vincent's voice speaking. Whose was it?
Yeah, so there's this suggestion that the freak, Donnie Wahlberg, had this same sort of power. But there's no real explanation as to how that all sort of works, or no connection made between why these two kids have this or anything like that. So that's interesting and creepy, but I don't know what the real payoff is there. But Malcolm finally believes, because of this evidence, that perhaps Cole is actually onto something. The bit I was disappointed in the book was the tent ghost girl scene. You know, in the film, there's the girl is under the sheet or the blanket. And
yeah, vaguely.
that scared the shit out of me because it's just that figure under the blanket and you don't know what it is and you know it's going to be revealed.
Yeah.
And a very recent Doctor Who just did the exact same thing by having a character standing under a blanket that nobody was, you didn't know what it was going to be or whether it was going to be revealed. But here it is in the book.
Cole beamed the light at his figurines, but they weren't there. A girl was, a pale, hollow-eyed girl about 10 years old, wearing a flannel nightgown. She opened her mouth to speak, and a cascade of vomit spilled out onto the floor. "I'm feeling much better now," she said, reaching out to him.
Must be spring break.
She's just been to Cancun or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
God, I'm butchering everything that Americans know so well, and that's most of your audience.
Like they know anything about us. Come on, they think we're broadcasting from a metal drum outside of Billabong.
We are, though.
Using wombats as chairs.
They'd make good chairs, actually. They've
would.
got really flat backs.
Yeah, if you could train them to kind of walk from one part of the house to the other, like when you wheel along in a chair, that'd be quite good. So look, Cole realizes he's going to actually have to start listening to what these ghosts want because the girl was a new one, but she'd be back too, night after night of hurling chunks onto his tent floor. He couldn't take that. Can you blame him? Slipping around in like carrot and corn every day.
Yeah, look, this is one of those funny things. It's like he can take the screaming mother and he can take being scratched and beaten, but vomit on the floor, he can't take that.
Ghost vomit on his floor.
That's too much. Yeah.
So now Cole and Malcolm have to go on a trip because apparently the girl must have gotten really chatty after the scene ended because they know a lot of stuff that they have to do in this next sequence. Kyra Collins, the sick girl in the tent, had told Cole to go to her house to her room. She'd told him to find an unlabeled video cassette and show it to her father. She'd given him an address and Cole had carefully written it down. Before he could ask her any further questions, such as how exactly she had died, should have started with that.
Oh, such bad timing.
She'd vanished.
It's unfortunate.
I kind of felt like Lorangas had enough now and he's just racing through. I know what that's like. There's that point in every single novelization. And I think what it is they've got a target to meet. So at the beginning they think, I'm never going to make this word count. And they're slow. They pad. And then they get towards the end and they go, oh, I'm inside. I can just race through the rest of this.
Yeah.
I like this.
By the curb, a woman was being held up by two men. She was crying so hard she could barely stand. "Can someone get a glass of water?" one of the men called out.
I guess mugging someone is really thirsty work.
I was very confused
being
by
held up
this.
by two men.
Yeah, I had to reread that a couple of times.
Give me your purse, eh?
Yeah. And then I just went with it. I just thought, okay, I still think something violent's going on, but
I didn't believe them.
obviously it wasn't, but hey, there we go.
So somehow Cole manages to infiltrate a stranger's funeral, get into her bedroom without being stopped. No one seems to care that Malcolm's there either. I mean, what is he, invisible? Show this poor guy some respect. The ghost under the bed gives Cole the tape and he gives it to the dad, who realizes that Mrs. Collins, the mother, killed her daughter by putting floor cleaning fluid in the soup.
Mrs. Collins turned around and smiled tensely at her husband. He did not smile back. "You were keeping her sick," he said in a voice hoarse with fury. A tear rolled down his cheek and spilled onto the carpet. Mrs. Collins looked from face to angry face. Her smile slowly went away. The flowers dropped from her hands. Cole's mission was done. He and Dr. Cole quietly slipped outside and shut the door behind them.
As the frenzied mob ripped Mrs. Collins to pieces.
Can I get a glass of water?
Like, all right, well, we're done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. There was a lovely party. We're going.
Time to go.
Yeah, that really upset me. It still made me uncomfortable in the book. Something really sad about it. Yeah, because there's that sort of justice, but then you realise, no, but she's gone. You can't bring her back. Yeah. Even though they've solved it, she's gone. She's done. And she's got a little sister as well, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because she was doing the finger puppets shows with the little sister, and then the ghost gives a clown finger puppet to Cole, and he gives it to the little girl on the swing, his little sister, who was also starting to get sick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember actually in the 90s when this would have been, because I remember any ER, they had a similar storyline of, I forget, it's that condition of where, you know, parents purposely make their kids sick so that they get all this attention or something. And yeah, there were several storylines, and this was another one. I don't know.
Plucked from the headlines.
I don't know what was going on in the 90s.
I've been in an American supermarket, though, and I reckon that Americans are putting a lot worse things in their bodies than floor cleaner. More economy here. In less than a page, we learn that Cole has managed to fix up at least 3 other ghosts and their problems in the following weeks. Sounds like this takes up a lot of time with very little return for Cole. Yeah. I felt that this was an even less lucrative racket than that whole Babysitters Club racket that we'd heard about before.
That's right.
They didn't make much out of that either. Reading about kids with really shitty after-school jobs. In fact, he's super casual about all this dead people business now. He's chatting away in the wings of a drama production to Mrs. Deems, who...
Cole had avoided looking at her while she was behind him. Now he saw her turn away. The left side of her face, which had been burnt off when she died in the fire, was no more than a big, bloody glob. As Mrs. Deems disappeared into the shadows, Cole faced Mr. Cunningham.
Yeah, it doesn't give a crap now. It's so desensitised, this kid. And now Cole is popular for some reason. He's in the school play, and he pulls out the metaphorical Excalibur, and all the kids hoop and holler, and I guess all is well now for Cole.
Yep. I think everything's been tied up, surely. Nothing new to reveal. No big things. Everything's fine. Happy ending. In fact, Hollywood ending.
On the way home, he finally is ready to confess things to his mother. This is actually a really memorable bit of the film, and I felt that maybe there's 2 things happening here. Either Lorangas is being lazy, or this is a testament to how good the script is here, because he doesn't really feel like we need anything else. It's almost like he doesn't want to break the flow with unnecessary things. So do you want to be Toni Collette or Hayley Joel Osment?
Yeah, I'll be Toni.
Okay. You know that accident up there?
Yeah.
Someone got hurt.
Did they?
A lady. She died.
Oh my God.
Lynn wiped the inside of the windshield with her sleeve and tried to look up ahead.
You can see her?
Yes.
Where is she?
Standing next to my window, Lynn's heart thumped. She spun around towards Cole's window but saw nothing.
Cole, you're scaring me.
They scare me too sometimes, Cole said.
They?
Dead people.
Dead people?
Ghosts. Do you remember this was the teaser trailer?
Yeah.
This was the very first trailer. Good. Very effective.
Yeah. Because you didn't see the ghost immediately, did you?
No.
And then you had the cutaway and then the ghost was there, and I'm pretty sure it was like with a ba-ba.
Yeah, because they're having this
music.
Conversation.
Yeah.
And when I realised how late this comes in the film, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty bold to use that as your teaser trailer. But, I mean, this film made a ton of money. Like, it was really successful.
Well, I still stand by. I mean, I've not watched it for, 20 years maybe?
Yeah.
But I still thought it was a really well put together film and kept me just, hooked the entire time.
And as for the book as well, I got to say, this bit that follows where he reveals information about the grandmother that only Lynn would know, and they start crying. It's really simple, but I actually thought that was really poignant. I was genuinely moved by that, just the way that, and he says that she was really proud of her and all this sort of stuff, and was like, oh, okay. Yeah, so
that's nice.
Don't expect much going into one of these things. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
So does that mean you're going to read Drama Club now?
I am, yeah. I'm going to read Poof! Rabbits everywhere! So Malcolm returns to his wife and begins to realise that perhaps something is wrong. I can't imagine what it would be.
It's taken a while. He felt odd, weightless, out of place. He stood up and took a few steps back, glancing around the room. Everything looked the same, but felt somehow different, as if the world had suddenly begun rotating the opposite direction. Things he hadn't noticed suddenly jumped out at him. He saw the mail spilled on the front desk, unopened for what looked like weeks. Most were bills. The words past due had been stamped angrily on one. Last chance to renew on another. Is this goodbye?
So he begins to relive the horrific night of his death. He realizes that his shirt is ripped and bloodied. He was a ghost all along. Who pulled this rug out from underneath me? M. Night is a magnificent bastard. Can you believe that?
Well, I couldn't at the time. No. I was truly shocked.
You were like, what?
It was a good montage too. I can remember cut.
Yeah.
Mail.
Not as good as the Kaiser Soze montage. That's my favourite. Yeah. You notice I've avoided saying M. Night's surname.
Yeah, Shy.
You know what I hate
it says in here, actually, how to say
pronounce it.
Yeah, in the back.
Oh, I meant to mention this whole back section. We'll have a look at that in a tick. Yeah, but I hate... There's, like, Americans... I've heard this joke a lot of times, like, on... It's not even a joke. They go, like, shamalanga-ding-dong. And then I've heard, like, people on things like Facebook and on podcasts say it as if it's, like, a really funny thing. It's not a funny thing. It's ignorant.
Oh, I remember... in the 90s, well, it's appropriate for the podcast.
Yeah.
We seem to spend a lot of time in the 90s when we podcast together.
We've spent a lot of time in the 90s.
And it was some, I don't know, congressional leader in America when Clinton was in power, but of course it was all Republicans in Congress. And one of them saying about the leader of the UN going, "We don't take no orders from Boo Boo Gali." Which was like, oh my God, what? You just said that about one of the most important leaders of the world. Yeah.
I heard the guy on Jeopardy say, Kookaburra.
Anything goes.
That's right. God, in the old days, it was just a glimpse of stocking, and now anything goes.
Yeah.
The ending. "You were never second," he said with all the conviction in his soul, ever.
Anna's falling tears were caught in the crease of a sad smile.
Malcolm was crying too. "You sleep now, Anna," he said softly. "Everything will be different in the morning."
I was going to say, that was a little bit aggressive. You sleep now, Anna.
"You sleep now, Anna," he said softly.
"Good night, Malcolm," Anna said.
"Good night, sweetheart."
As Malcolm leaned back, closing his eyes, Anna's breath made slow, wispy clouds.
On the TV screen, the wedding reception was at its raucous peak. Malcolm was, at least it wasn't the honeymoon at its raucous peak. Malcolm was in the midst of his toast. Breakfast for dinner. Anna was behind the camera, keeping his face in full close-up.
"I just have to say," he announced to the guests, this day today has been one very special day. I wish we could all stay and play. It's Seuss again, Dr. Seuss.
They had green eggs and ham at the reception.
Yeah.
The crowd laughed, and Anna passed a joking comment that made the young groom blush, that we don't get to hear, apparently.
"Anna," said Malcolm's image into the camera lens, "I never thought I'd feel the things I'm feeling. I never thought I'd be able to stand up in front of my friends and family and tell them what's inside me. Today I can."
Pop-Tarts. The tape was silent for a moment. Even the shaky, grainy image couldn't hide the young groom's tears. "Anna Crow," he said with tenderness, "I am in love. In love I am."
The screen dissolved into static.
The room fell silent.
Anna Crow slept soundly, her breaths invisible in the warm indoor.
He loved her in a box. He loved her with a fox. Wow, and that is The Sixth Sense. And as you just reminded me, I should have written some notes about this. There's a actual, here we go, Shyamalan, M. Night Shyamalan. There's actually like an interview with him about the secrets of The Sixth Sense at the end of the book. Questions like, do you know why you're scared when you're alone?
Oh. What, is he asking that?
Yeah, he's being asked that.
Oh, he's being asked.
The questions that remain.
Oh, well, they're questions that remain. Wow, there's a lot of bloody gaps.
Here we go. Did Cole know from the start that Malcolm was dead? What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, of course he did. Which is why he was freaked out and ran to the church.
The answer is yes, says Shyamalan. Is that why, next question, the moment Cole sees Malcolm, he runs to the church?
Oh,
you're ahead of the curve. You're right. No.
Oh, he was already going to the church.
No, it's normal for Cole to sprint from his house to the church. He's not running because he's scared of the ghost. I think Ray Parker Jr. wrote a song about that, about not being afraid of no ghost. Why isn't Cole scared of Malcolm?
Well, he was initially. Remember, he's always looking down and he doesn't want him there.
He says, the thing I found in the research and that I generally find in kids is they're very matter-of-fact about things. They're not like us. They're not so jaded that they go, oh, you're black, you're white. Cole doesn't get scared of the person in the hall because he's a ghost. He's scared of the person in the hall because he's a stranger and he's bloody. So, doesn't mind Cole.
This sounding very odd. That seems like a cop-out.
Are there other ghosts Cole hasn't been scared of? Yes, it's insinuated that the priest who taught him Latin and Cole's grandmother are ghosts.
Yes, that's right. And the little glints in the photographs. At some points he's happy in them.
What's the deal with the red doorknob to the basement? Oh, okay, this is interesting. It's not just the doorknob. Anything that was tainted by the other world, the Sixth Sense world, anything that meant more than it actually was red. If you concentrated, you saw that the thing that was red, the coffee mug, Cole's sweater, Anna's dress at the restaurant, and the doorknob had some connection, some significance.
Missed that.
Is there some belief, some theory about that colour? No, I just made it up. It's a visual thing in filmmaking. And if Cole knows that ghosts can't see each other, why does he expect Malcolm to see the hanging people at the school?
Who says that Cole knows ghosts can't see each other?
How does Malcolm get down the basement when it's locked? He's a ghost! Cole says it's cold and his breath is cold and there are no angry ghosts there, but Malcolm is there. That's why.
Yeah.
And he says that he loves Poltergeist. And look, and he signs the book. There you go. He signed every copy.
Yeah.
Good on you, Shyamalan. All right. So I've got to ask you, as I always do, was the book better than the film?
Of course not.
No.
But it was all right, actually.
Yeah. Good as far as these things go. You don't expect much, but it was all right. So, yeah, well done, Larangos, but the film's better. And here's a little bit of Amazon reviews for you. See what you make of these. This is a well-written book, but if I had known that it's a novelization based on the movie, I might not have bought it. If you enjoy reading novels based on movies, you will probably enjoy this as it seems to be faithful to the spirit, get it, of the movie. However, if you prefer more original stories, check out a writer named Richard M. Peck for some really good ghost stories.
Wow. What was were there people feedbacking on that review? I don't think feedbacking is the word.
No, people never do on Amazon. Amazon's just a void. It's just throwing it out there.
Amazon might delete it.
Here's one. A great book. It's quick, sweet, and to the point. Cole really touched my heart with how mature he was for such a small child, yet still just a little boy at heart. He carried a talent that could either be horrifying or beautiful. I was so surprised at the end. A lot of people said they predict the ending around the middle of the book. Not me. It was a total shock. So there you go. Not everybody thought it was signposted.
Yep.
If you love scary books and you love the movie The Sixth Sense, this is the book for you. It is a boy who needs help. He doesn't have many friends and he has a secret he wants to tell you. The only way to figure out his biggest secret is to buy this book. You will read this book over and over again. I know I did. This is an excellent thriller and it will leave you thinking if you have The Sixth Sense. 3 words. Buy this book. It is the best. That's 6 words.
Well, what's the biggest secret?
He sees dead people.
No, but we already know that.
He sees dead people.
Well, especially when he goes, and you love the movie, then this is the book for you. Well, I think we know the secret if we love the film.
This is one of my favourites. Occasionally on Amazon, it's clear that a class of kids has been asked to review the book. So they always have, like, the author's purpose and stuff. So here we go. I'm going to read this as written. Author's purpose? Entertain. Summary. It's about a little lad named Cole. He lives with his mum. He goes on a field trip and sees the plane crash. Then he can see the people who died in the plane crash and many more. At first he tries to avoid them, but he finds out all they want is help. He tries to hell as many of them out as he can. If he does do that, he may have a chance of saving the only surviving passenger in a comma. At least he wasn't in a semicolon. I think you should read this book because it's a non-stop thriller. It will have your eyes nailed to the page. You'll be surprised with what will happen. What do you find out about that review?
I don't know what book they read.
None of that stuff happens in the film.
It sounds like
None
Hatchet.
of that stuff happens in this book. There are what I think it is. I can shed light on this mystery. There are other books written in the Sixth Sense world, and I'd say he's read one of those. And finally, do you remember that guy at the beginning? And you said, did anyone respond to him?
No.
The guy, the first review guy?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He responded to himself. In the review I just posted, I suggested looking for books by Richard M. Peck, but just did a search of Amazon and found this gentleman's name is Richard Peck, no M. Sorry for any confusion. Glad you clarified that one, buddy. That's excellent. So there we go. So that was episode 99. Next week is the big episode 100. We're going to have the Book Was Better awards. We've got some categories. People can vote right now, but I think I'm recording this at the time you guys are hearing this. On the exact same night that this is released, I'm recording. But I will reveal who's coming back and what the book is. Of course, Jessica McLeod will be the host, the original host. It was her idea, actually, this whole thing. I'm just a hanger-oner. She was there for the first 30-odd episodes. Has come back a few times since, but she'll be there for episode 100, and we are reading License to Drive.
Classic.
Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. Who's your favourite Corey?
Haim.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I like Feldman.
Yeah, but look, it was the 80s. I was very young. He was the more attractive one.
Oh, yeah.
As simple as that.
That's true.
Really.
But then he got, like, really fat.
Yeah, but they all did. By then I wasn't even looking anymore, was I?
No, I guess not. But then Feldman...
well, Feldman was always fat, so...
No, he got skin now. He looks like a corpse. Yeah. He's all
like
leather. He's all leathery.
Corpse.
Yeah. Not good. So we're going to do that. I've got to watch the film. I've never seen that film.
What?
Yeah. So I'm really excited about
it.
I heard when I had the C-List podcast, we used to talk about Corey Feldman all the time because he's like just the most fantastic person. And someone like went to a signing and gave him a License to Drive DVD to sign. And other Corey hadn't been dead for long. So he just started sobbing away at the desk, and it was really awkward for the person. They were just like, how do I get out of this? Also, please rate reviewers on iTunes. That'd be a good 100th gift. Like pages on Facebook. Listen to the other shows. There's Fruitless Pursuits Cast, which is the pop culture podcast reviewing new films and things. And there's ScarJo A Go-Go, where I review every Scarlett Johansson movie in chronological order. And I think when you guys listen to this, the next one will be Eight-Legged Freaks. Giant spider movie. That's kind of fun. It's got starring David Arquette. You don't hear that often, do you?
No.
Starring David Arquette.
He did go for a very short period where he kind of got popular for a while.
Yeah, well, this is a year after the Scream trilogy finished. Yeah. So I guess he had to do something, but still starring David Arquette. So there you go. Please, support all those things. Leah, thank you so much. I love having you on the show. Always really fun.
Thank you very much.
And, it's been an absolute pleasure, so thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Well...
Thank you too.
We'll catch...
Oh, I've forgotten the flip side?
Catch you on the... I see that tomorrow.